and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe right here in Lagos.
What a greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. Cecilia, thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
So much going on in our world of sports. I'm monitoring what's going on in the Premier League. And I'm sure you're monitoring so much happening back home in Nigeria.
So much happening back home in Nigeria. And of course, MPFL Super Pack matches for this weekend. Eimba and Benin Insurance will lock hands. So you have the battle of those fighting relegation in MPFL, and also you have the battle of those fighting relegation in the English Premier League. So this weekend, it is loaded for that particular battle. Of course, we're talking about the Falconets of Nigeria, the under-20 women's national team. They will be taking part at the World Cup this year. Of course, they have to pick a ticket first, and that journey is starting tomorrow right there in Abeokuta, where they will be up against Senegal in the third round matches. All the third round matches will be decided this weekend, and they'll go into playing the second round, and then the winners of that go into the final round, where you have 16 teams locking on. Of course, the winners of that will represent Africa at the World Cup taking place in Poland later in the year. We will have time to talk about that tonight on the show. And of course, the CAF Champions League, the journey for Rivers United is about to end. They are up against the champions at home this weekend. Can they pull off an upset? We can't tell when Rivers United are in action. It's actually hard to predict what they will come up with. We'll be dwelling on that on the show tonight. And of course, yes, we will travel to England. We talked about that, the English Premier League. Mentioned that earlier. You hear from the coaches that will be in action this weekend. And of course, the big games, that will be our focus this weekend. Tottenham against Manchester United, they will be in action this weekend. And of course, Manchester City and Liverpool will also be in action. You'll be hearing from Michael Carrick, Ancelotti, and of course, Pep Guardiola, all of them talking ahead of the game this weekend. Yes, it's a loaded package. Yes, it's a football show. And of course, it's a Friday. So let's get rolling with this. We're starting up with the Falconets. And Victor Ademola, who is in Abeokuta, will be joining us this evening to give us all the information, everything you need to know when it comes to the Falconets. Of course, they've been traveling all around the country. The first camp was in Abuja. From there, they moved to Oyo State in Ibadan. And then right now, they are in Abeokuta because they will be playing that game at the MK Abiola Stadium, 4 p.m. Tomorrow. That's Saturday. And of course, you know, is Nigerian time. That's what we're using here. So if Ademola is ready to join us, let's roll with him first before we have Fisayo Dairo also joining us, the chief football writer with aclsports.com. So if Ademola is ready to join us, we'll roll with him as we start the Falconets, because the first 15 minutes of this show is going to be all about the Falconets of Nigeria. Demola, are you ready to join us?
Absolutely, and it's good to be here on the show today with you.
Yeah, great to have you join me. Yeah, I love the fact that you're over there. I'm here tonight on the show. Yes, for you, you've been following the Falconets from their journey, even when you came back from the AFCON. Of course, the first point of call was for you to follow these teams, watching them train, watching them playing all their friendlies. So how has it been, the journey for the Falconets, and how are the players at the moment?
Honestly, the players are in good mood, high spirits, They played 2 friendly games, first against Robo, defeated Robo 2-1. Then they played the Oyo State National Sport Festival team, and Cecilia, they defeated them 15-0. These girls mean business. For them, they want to pick the World Cup ticket. They have never missed qualification to the Under-20 Women's World Cup. So they want to do the job. They want to get the job done in the first leg against Senegal before going for the second leg in this third and penultimate round.
They understand, they know what to do right now at the moment because, as you mentioned, Nigeria has never failed to qualify for the World Cup. And Senegal, obviously, is a tough task for them. Austin is here with me. Of course, he's in London. He's got some questions for you concerning the Falconets right there in Abeokuta, where they are preparing to face the Senegalese team.
Yeah, Victor, good to have you on the show. The last time I was with you, we were together in Morocco. And it's good to see that you're still pumping that passion by, following the Falconets. You've been with this team. What have you seen? You've been following them for quite some time that can be reassuring. Let's think ahead of Senegal. and think about the future, do you see immense quality in this team?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, this team is a team that can rival any national team for the senior level in Africa. We have very young and talented players in this squad. From the attacking lineup, we have Janet Semaya, one of the best young players in the country right now. We have Shakira Atmoshid coming from the 17 side, coming into this team, and she scored in our first friendly game. The team is quite packed offensively. We also have Karim Ramotalai. She got the highest goal scorer for the under-20 Wafobi Girls Cup, which they won last year. So the attacking threat from these girls is quite amazing. And I must say, Nigeria is blessed with a lot of amazing, young, talented players. Now, the coach has been working well, so they can be solid defensively. And of course, they can try to convert the chances that they created. In the last round, they defeated Rwanda over 2 legs, 5 goals to nil, Mr. Austin. The last game they played was in Ibadan against Rwanda at home. We defeated Rwanda 4 goals to nil. It enjoyed massive support from the locals. And we saw young students, secondary school students, coming to watch these girls play. And of course, this will motivate them for people that want to go into sports. And it's something that is beautiful to see. For the coach, they are not underrating Senegal. Senegal got to this stage, defeating Nigeria over 2 legs, 6 goals to nil. So Senegal know how to score, and they are quite tall. I saw them today in Abeokuta in the final training session. So there will be a major threat to Nigeria, but the coach is focused. He said in the press conference that is the main target is to get the World Cup ticket, and of course they're not going to underrate Senegal.
That's a fantastic target. I hope they, stay focused and get to achieve it. Victor, the last time our women's team played in Abeokuta, it was the Super Falcons, and they couldn't beat Benin Republic. So I covered my face for that. Will Abeokuta support this team to, show that yes, the women's national teams, particularly the Falconets, can go out there, enjoy a good result?
Yes. I hope the fans turn up. They turned up for the Super Falcons. I know we played the 1-1 draw against Benin, but we already qualified for the WAFCON over 2 legs on aggregate. So maybe that's why they were more relaxed. But the Falconets, these girls are hungry for success. You should see them train. These girls are really, really hungry for success. Either they play a senior team or they play a junior team, they do not underrate them at all. And I just hope that all the things they've worked on in training, they implement them when the game starts proper against Senegal. Trust me, I watch them train, and from the training level, you can see the high intensity, you can see seriousness, you can see dedication from these girls. These girls obviously in the future want to play for top clubs around the world. They also want to play for the Super Falcons, and maybe one day leave the WAFCON, maybe the Olympic gold medal, maybe the World Cup. So they have high dreams, and of course, they have to get it right at this level. And when these girls are hungry for success, they're unstoppable. Let's just hope that they click against Senegal.
Of course,
Cecilia,
I believe that is
Cecilia
infectious.
loves everything you've been talking about. I know you love it, Cecilia.
Obviously, that confidence that is oozing from Demola is actually reaching the studio. Well, Fisayo Diary is also joining us on the show tonight from Port Harcourt. Fisayo Diary is a chief football writer with aclsport.com. Fisayo, it's good to have you join us on the program tonight.
Very good evening to you, Cecilia. Good evening, Austin, and to Ademola, who is obviously enjoying himself right here in Abeokuta.
He's obviously enjoying himself. I love that because he's all smiles, watching the girls train and all their friendlies. Imagine scoring 15 goals against a team. That's massive. What do you think about that? I mean, Demola has actually spread it all out, what the girls have been doing, the friendlies they've been playing. Yes, we know they're lesser teams, but then when it comes to football, I mean, there are actually no lesser teams. You play what is actually in front of you. From what you heard from Demola and, of course, from what Austin have talked about, is the confidence reaching you right now ahead of tomorrow's game?
Yeah, right from the onset, I cannot lose sleep over the Falconets because they are a side that, they have a good coach. Moses Aduku, I was a fan of his job when they won the league at Edo Queens and when they were at the CAF Women's Champions League. Very good coach, will give you good football. And I'm particularly happy, this might surprise a lot of people, but I'm happy that they are playing in Abeokuta and not in Ibadan. Why? They are going to play on a synthetic surface, which means it's going to be a fast-paced game.
Yeah.
The ball behavior is going to be fast. The players, it will have to bring out the best in terms of intensity from the players. There is no waiting for the ball. You kick a ball, the ball is bouncing, you're running after it, and that is how best you can get the best out of these, young talents. Yes, a lot of them are also experienced in the league. They're experienced on the international scene. They have a coach that plays good football. So definitely, I can't lose sleep over the Falconets. They will surely breeze through Senegal home and away. Although the Senegalese have a couple of experienced players as well, including Ajin Jai, but the Falcons, like Ademola mentioned, this Falconets squad is good enough to ruffle feathers with any senior national team in Africa. So taking on the Senegalese under 20, I believe they should get the good results and qualify for the last round. Yeah.
So everyone, just go to sleep, and when you wake up, the Falconets would have picked a ticket for the World Cup. Let's take a look at other fixtures coming up this weekend at the FIFA Under-17, Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers in Africa. Now, Saturday's fixtures, you have Kenya and Tanzania will be in action. Uganda and Zambia will also be in action. Of course, Nigeria, Senegal, which is our main focus for tonight. That game is 4 p.m. MK Abiola Stadium. So if you are in Abeokuta, you have to go to the stadium to support these guys. You will enjoy goals. You will enjoy good football. Cameroon and Botswana will also be in action. Guinea-Bissau and Malawi. Of course, these are the games for Saturday's third round match scheduled for you. Ghana and South Africa. Now, this is another tough and big game, and Cote d'Ivoire and DR Congo will wrap up the third round fixtures for this weekend. So now let's take a listen to the coach, the things expected, the confidence in camp, and of course the traveling from Abuja to Ibadan and to Abeokuta have not really affected them, and that's what he's talking about. He says the focus is on this particular game, and also they want to score more goals. How many more? Find out from him and the captain talking ahead of the game against Senegal.
Firstly, I'll say Senegal is a very good side, and we'll be taking the match with all seriousness. Our first match, we'll be taking it with all seriousness. We are focused and we're ready. We're not underrating them. After playing our first match here home, we'll be going to their side too as well, taking it with all seriousness, being focused.
The girls are prepared for the game. We've been working hard from Abuja. We moved to Ibadan, and now we are in Abeokuta. The camp has been bubbling. The players are fit, they're ready to go. So tomorrow, we are going to have a good game. The kind of mentality we have in the camp, is a winning mentality. Win every game that comes your way. That is why every friendly game we play, we take it like a cup final. And tomorrow is not going to be an exception. We are going all out there to see that we get the win, and not just win like that. We want to win well, because we know this is not the final game. We are still going to meet them in Senegal. So therefore, the guys knows this. The mentality in them now is that they are just waiting for tomorrow to come. We are going to double our efforts, most especially in the areas of scoring goals. We have been working on it in training, and we believe it's going to reflect by tomorrow. So that game we played against Togo was a good one. And we had to top it up by playing that practice game against the festival team, just to relax the mind of the guests. We have been working from Abuja. We continue to work in Ibadan till we got here, and we continue working. So I think the journey is not our problem. We are focused on the match. We've been waiting for tomorrow to come. So there is no issue about that. We are privileged, the entire team. Before we went for Wafubi, we watched the Super Falcons play here. Honestly, I was very impressed with the fans I saw. The stadium was filled to capacity. So I am pleading and asking the fans to return back. The Falconets will also do the nation proud. So we're expecting them to come, pray for us, and also believe in us. Like for the Falconets, I think they have not failed to qualify for any of the World Cup. That has been our big challenge in the camp. We'll be hammering on it that it can't be in our turn that it will happen. So the guys are ready. That's the most important thing. And tomorrow will speak for itself.
Obviously, tomorrow will speak for itself. The first leg is tomorrow, and the second leg will be February 14th. Then they will be in Dakar, in Senegal, where they will be playing that return leg. Demola, you just listened to the coach. That game against FC Robo, because it ended 2-1, and maybe he felt they could have scored more, and that's why he says they're still working on scoring goals. That's a team that scored 15 against another team.
Yes, absolutely. For the coach, because these are young players, the plan is to keep working on them till they get better. They are still under 20 players, and they are still learning, they are still growing. And as they continue to play together as a team, and they continue to learn together, they get better, and they'll be able to convert the chances and get more goals. The Wafubi under 20 Girls Cup, which they won a few months ago, they won all their games. Defeated Ghana twice, defeated Benin twice, to lift the cup. It's a work in progress for them. and for them, it's just to focus.
Before we let you go, make a prediction. You watch the team. You were with them and the coach. You listen to them. Make a prediction.
Wow, it's a home game, so I would say Nigeria win this. On paper, I'm going to go with the wild scoreline, 5-0.
On paper, what are you talking about? Well, I like that confidence. Thank you so much for your time on the show. Always a delight speaking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Okay, we'll stay with that. Victor Ademola predicting a 5-0, massive 5-0 win for the Falconets over Senegal. Decided that was it too bold or it was just being a Nigerian?
Well, he has followed the team a lot, so I could understand his optimism, but I think 5 might be too much, but I think they will win comfortably, perhaps a 2-goal margin. Like I said, being a synthetic turf will help us to get, to pour in torrents while attacking. Maybe it wouldn't be more than 3, but I expect at least a 2-goal margin, yeah.
We'll see, Cecilia.
That's more respectable, right? I just saw the training of the Senegalese team. I mean, these girls are really tall and fit, and maybe that much sharpness, everything you can think about, they have all that. I think that's respectable scoreline. I'll also go with that one. Yeah, let's rest the Falconets for now. And of course, when we come back on the show, we will be talking about how they're preparing for the return leg, which is February 14th on Saturday, next week Saturday, after tomorrow, the coming Saturday. That's when they will be playing that game. Now let's quickly move to, the CAF Champions League match day 5. We'll take a look at the fixtures for this weekend. I know Fisayo is pumping up to talk about this one because for Rivers United, it's been a hard one. After 4 games, they are yet to win a game. Just 1 point, and that was against Dynamos when it ended in a draw. Dynamos and RS Berkane will be in action. That's the Saturday's fixture. But for Sunday, it's Rivers United hosting Pyramids FC right here in Nigeria. And of course, it's not their own home ground, but it's Uyo. That's where they've been calling their home ground. For Rivers United, it is cut out. Just finish the group stage and go out on a high. That's what they're expecting because it's not looking like they will get into the morning spinning quarterfinal stage. Afisayo, you followed Rivers United. When they started this journey, we thought no matter what happened, at least they should be able to pick up at minimum of 6 points. And we're looking at, of course, Power Dynamos, the team from Zambia. But it's not looking at it like it at the moment, simply because, it's a serious one. Rivers United.
Yeah, well, I think United are a victim of their own success, there is a reason why the Nigerian team have gotten to this stage since 2019. And Rivers United, they've gone the extra mile by getting to this stage. But the strength of their playing squad, the strength of their playing staff has just shown us that this level is a little bit higher than what they are capable of getting to. Now, the first group game against Pyramids in Egypt, that's the defending champions. They held their own in the first half, it was goalless, but they capitulated spectacularly in the second half, making errors and considering in the story of their group stage campaign. Second match in EU, I was there against Confederation Cup champions, RS Berkane. They were leading 1-0, could have scored more. They created good chances. They failed to take them. And then, in second half stoppage time, they capitulated, conceding 2 goals in 3 stoppage time minutes. And the third game, away to Power Dynamos, they were under the cosh for the largest spells of the game, but they went off with a point. And now, on Sunday against same Power Dynamos, missing 3 crucial players that are very important to the way they play. A centre-back, their defensive midfielder, and an attacking midfielder.
Okay.
And
yeah, Fisa, we need to go on a quick break. When we come back, you tell us more about these players actually missing for Rivers United and how they can play without them. Welcome back. Yeah, Fisayo was trying to tell us how Rivers United can navigate this journey they've been on, how they can, well, maybe live the continent on a high, yeah, with respectable, at least, scoreline. Fisayo.
Yeah, so I was talking about 3 players they missed in the last game on Sunday.
Yeah.
They have 2 of them back. The left centre back, Ogechukwu Ogbu, who is very central to when they build up from goal kicks especially, and the midfielder Emmanuel Enaji. But having said that, yes, what is right at the top of their minds is, living on a high. A lot of these players want to prove a point, especially to a team like Pyramids. Remember, Pyramids have never lost in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Against Rangers International in 2019, they won 3-1. Against Enyimba, 3 years later, they drew 1-1 in Aba. And now against Rivers United, have lost their last home game. They are, they are obviously the favorites. They are the group leaders, and defending champions. But the Rivers United players really want to prove a point, and they will be interested to see how they acquaint themselves. One thing is, in all their own games, they've dominated. They've created tons of chances. Like the head coach Finidi just said, it's the work of the coaches to ensure that they're able to create chances. It's not left to the players to take them, but they've not taken them so far. So let's hope that they take them on Sunday, because I'm particularly interested to see how they prosecute their last 2 matches, which are against the current champions of the Champions League and the current champions of the Confederation Cup.
It's all of that for them, Austin. It's all one.
Yeah, Cecilia, I'm so deflated talking about Rivers United. Fisayo, when you were going through the analysis, you just brought back memories. Sometimes in football, I'm sure you'd agree, it's not that you lose a game, it's how you lose that game that is actually painful. And when you look at this Rivers United team, Fisayo, you know them. I know these players. Where do you see the problem? I asked China the same problem. Is it coaching quality or terrible players' execution?
I think it has nothing to do with the coaching. It's just, I'm always honest, when it comes to our teams on the continent, I think it's about the quality of the players, the capabilities of the players. I did a lengthy analysis for colleagues after that game on Sunday about the quality of players in the league. Yes, you get to see even Rivers United do not have the best playing squad in the league. It's a fact. Remo Stars, Abia Warriors have better squad strength than Rivers United, but the coaches have been able to, build a team strong defensively. And since they are stingy in terms of concession of goals, they've been able to get results, especially in the league. So they know themselves, even the club, the management know themselves that they can have better players. And one good thing for them is, look at their position in the league table. They will most likely return to the Champions League next season. And this should enable them attract even better players in the country to the team. A lot of their players are playing in just their first MPFL season. A lot of them are playing just their second season. So now translate that to playing at the highest level of club football in Africa, I think it's a tad too high for a lot of them to handle, and that's why they've gotten these results.
Tough, Fisayo, this is football where anything can happen. Do you see a winning result for Rivers United against Pyramids?
The problem is taking the chances. I have no problems. I have no doubt that they can hold their own against Pyramids. And, with the players coming back from injuries, I think they will not lose. I think they will not lose on Sunday. Pyramids will be expecting to come here and get the win. I think Rivers will not win, will not lose. Will they win? Only time will tell if they take their chances.
When they don't even have the players to take it, to finish the chances that they've created. I mean, I love what you said about them not having those kind of players. Well, don't you think just maybe, they have a little bit of break, the transfer window where they could have at least maybe go for 1 or 2 top strikers, because I believe maybe if they have a top 9, an out-and-out striker, it would have been a different result. And we would have been talking about Rivers United that may have picked up maybe 4 points at this moment. Non-Dynamos, who is already on 4 points, because they have just 1 point after playing 4 games.
Yeah, the way our transfer is in Nigerian football, you cannot get a good player from a club mid-season. His club will not release him for you. But in fairness to them, they got someone back from North Africa, Chijoke Mboma. He was the league's top scorer in 2024.
Yes.
So he played his first game on Sunday against Padre Anamos, but he showed signs of rustiness because he has not played for the past 3 months. So, but with that experience, I expect a better performance from him on Sunday. And, in terms of presence up front, he showed what their previous centre forwards did not have. So if he could play that way on Sunday, having not played competitive football in 3 months, then you expect him to be better on Sunday. But more importantly, they will enjoy him in their league campaign once they are done with the CAF Champions League next week.
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to do that. Do you want to stick out your neck for prediction? 1-0 Rivers United winning. That'll be a stunner. Possibility, right?
Yeah, I would boldly go for Rivers United winning 2-1.
Whoa, that's interesting. All right, I did it last week and I lost woefully, and I hope you don't be in my shoes next week. Let's take a look at the MPFL. We just run through all the results starting from Saturday, and that Saturday game, it's a big one. Benin Insurance and Enyimba will open match day 25 of the Nigeria Premier Football League. And of course, the team that pulled out, well, they are back. So we have 20 teams in the MPFL. Now let's go to Sunday's fixtures. Kano Pillars and Remo Stars. Now the battle of those that are fighting relegations, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show. Kano Pillars and Remo Stars. Interesting that these two big teams are actually, at the relegation waters. Abia Warriors and Enugu Rangers will also be in action, those contending for the top 4 position, and of course, maybe the league. Ikorodu City also in top 4 against Niger Tornadoes, whose story is coming from, well, Niger State's not really pretty, but we'll confirm that before we tell you all about it. Kun Khalifat and Shooting Stars will also lock us. Kun Khalifat are calling all their fans to come to the stadium in Aba and watch them beat Shooting Stars if they can do that. Nasarawa United and Bayelsa United will also be in action for Sunday's fixtures. And to complete Sunday's fixtures, Plateau United will be hosting Kwara United, who are also in relegation waters, thinking of how they can end the 6th game unbeaten run that Plateau United currently enjoying. Warrior Wolves and Academy Warriors, they have Wicked Tourists and Katsina United completing match day 25 in the MPFL. So Austin, over to you on this one. Kano Pillars, Benin Insurance, and Enyimba, which one are you going for first?
The MPFL at this thing really will definitely really get us talking. But look, with what happened with Kun Khalifat, I was like, it's time again that administration, pop up and show that they are in charge, particularly as we have this round of fixtures going on. Kun Khalifat yesterday, the CEO said that they're going to, start by beating Shooting Stars. We'll get to see where that will go. Kano Pillars and Remo Stars, both struggling teams, particularly with Remo Stars. They cannot believe how their season just crumbled. This is a team that we adored, that we talked about when they won the league title. But hey, this is football. Let me get Fisayo talking. I admire Abia Warriors a lot. And in a way, in the last 2 seasons, they've shown us that they can actually get us talking. What do you expect from that game against Rangers?
Yeah, the game against Rangers has to be the peak of the pile because it's 2 teams that have their sights set on the top of the table. If Rangers can pull the fire out of the chestnut out of the fire now in Aba, they could go to the top of the table. And if Abia Warriors win, they go level on points with Rivers United. So it's going to be an interesting one. Abia Warriors do not really know how to play in Aba,
Yeah.
So it's a different test for them. Ironically, the kind of football that Imam Mapakaba loves to play is best suited to the Aba turf. Yeah. So it's really going to be an interesting game in Aba on Sunday between these 2 sides, and definitely everyone at the stadium should have a time of their lives.
I think another game that also attracted me actually is Benin Insurance and Enyimba. I mean, these 2 teams, if you check their position right now on the league, you have Enyimba 11th on the position, and for Benin Insurance, they're 8th on the log. And these 2 teams, after 24 games, Benin Insurance have 34 points, and for Enyimba is 31 for them. That's after match day 24. Afisa, these 2 teams could have been, title contenders, but from all indication, it's looking like they will be happy if they finish in top 4.
Absolutely. Every team in Nigerian Premier Football League will be happy if they finish in the top 3 brackets, so to say. And for Benin Insurance, Kennedy Boboye has turned things around in Benin City, went on like a 10-match unbeaten run, but it was snapped by Shooting Stars. And since then, they have failed to win any of their last 3 games. They will be desperate in Benin on Saturday, and I think they will beat Enyimba. Enyimba seem to be out of sorts at the moment. Their players embarked on an industrial action during the week, asking for their bonuses to be paid. The chairman, Kanu Nwankwo, had a new coach and a new sporting director. The government and through the commissioner and the governor also have their own new coach and the new sporting director. It's chaos right there in Aba, and I'm sure that I think that in Benin, more wounds into their wounds.
More wounds, right? Remo Stars and Kano Pillars. I thought Aussie was going to start off with that one because these two teams, you have defending champions, the holders of the League Cup, right? So to speak. They are 18th on the log. Kano Pillars 19. Remo Stars lost in their new home ground, to Plateau United 2-1. And right now, they will be up against Kano Pillars, who are also trying to see how they can leave that bottom four. So are you there?
Yeah, okay. I thought you are directing it to Austin. This is a classic relegation six-pointer, It's amazing to have these two teams in the relegation zone at this point. I think Kano Pillars want it more. They're at home in Kano, and they might just sneak it because it seems everything is going horribly wrong for Remo Stars at the moment. Look at the game against Plateau United on our screen. Both goals should not be beating any goalkeeper, but Olisa Emmanuel somehow found a way to concede both. And, you just don't see respite in sight for the reigning champions, Remo Stars, when they travel to the Sani Abacha Stadium on Sunday.
Another losing run is going to continue. Austin, that's what it's looking like for Remo Stars as a relegation candidate.
I know that would be some conversation for us, if Remo Stars, a team that made us, we thought that yes, this is a standard for any team, to get us talking in the Nigeria Premier Football League, from the coaching staff to the overall, management of the team, the players, and sort of football that they played. They were a good side, how everything just changed, I really can't get it. Yeah, this is what we're talking about, the sort of goals that they conceded in that match, and what a time to even concede. That was what I was trying to tell Fisayo, that sometimes it's not that you lose a match. How did you lose the game? If you're losing it, you're conceding in the 90th minute, and you are playing at home. How do you want your supporters to go back home, with that sort of display? So it's quite sad. Let's just hope that Remo Stars can turn it around. But isn't this why we love football, Fisayo, where, you think that you know it, and then football stuns you?
Well, unfortunately, that's why we love the game. And, the feelings among Remo Stars fans is not something to, it's not pleasing, really, because they've played in Abeokuta, they've played in Ikene, they've played in Ibadan, they played this game in Benin City. They've not really been able to get that formula or that system. That, a lot of reasons have been adduced to that, but no matter what the reasons can be, like I said earlier, I'm maintaining they have some of the best crop of players in the league. So what is exactly happening? But like you said, it just reminds one of the Chelsea of 2015-2016 season, the season after winning the league. Everything just went crumbling until the coach was sacked.
Football for you.
Football sometimes have its way.
My friends that support Manchester United, they're telling me now, laugh at us again and let's see. They believe everything. Everything is turning around. Let's wrap it up with let's wrap it up with Warri Wolves, El Kanemi Warriors. Warri Wolves, they are 9th on the log. El Kanemi, they are 12th on the log. Does that fixture excite you in any way?
Not much of excitement, but I really like what Warri Wolves are doing. They seem to be a team that just wants to stay in the league this season. Sometimes the results don't go well, sometimes they do. And I've seen them this season that they are not a bad side at all. Now they're going to be playing at in Ozoro. The pitch has suffered a little bit, also because of the dry weather. But thank goodness we've had some rainfall in southern parts of Nigeria over the past 1-2 weeks. So they should have a better turf to play on. And I think Not even flying head coach Kabaludogo by El Kanami Warriors should prevent them from losing on Sunday against Warriors in Osoro.
All right, let's go straight to the English Premier League. I just run through the fixtures for you for this weekend. Obviously, starting from Saturday's game, where Manchester United will be opening this match day with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, both sides were evenly poised. You would say in their last 5 games, they've lost just 1. But the difference is United are 3-game winning streak. I can't remember the last time they did that. But Tottenham, out of that 5 games, they've lost 1, they've drawn 2, and of course they've won just 1 in that last 5 games that they played. Bournemouth and Aston Villa will also be in action. Arsenal will welcome Sunderland at the Emirates. Burnley and West Ham United, Fulham and Everton have Wolves and Chelsea, Newcastle and Brentford wrap up the match day for Saturday. Let's go to Sunday's fixtures where you have just 2 games. Brighton hosting Crystal Palace, Liverpool and Manchester City. That's another big game. And of course, we're starting off with Manchester United and Tottenham. But first, before we start with the analysis, let's take a listen to Michael Carrick, what he had to say concerning Spurs. Remember, before he joins Manchester United, he actually played for Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, they certainly bring a challenge. I think you can see, especially the way they finished the game the other day, and they've had, over a period of time, players injured and ins and outs, and a lot of changes to the team, which makes things a lot more challenging, a lot more difficult from their perspective. But getting players back, and they've got good attackers, really good attackers that look to stretch the back line and play forward and attack the box an awful lot. So it's something we certainly got to be aware of, and slightly different game to maybe what we've played over recent weeks in some ways, but we're looking forward to it. We're in a good place, and boys have worked well again this week. Again, feet on the ground. Let's not get carried away with what's gone on, but it's about what's next again. So big challenge ahead, but we're looking forward to it.
Ready for that challenge ahead. It's going to be a 4 in 4 for Manchester United. If you say I started with this one, 4 in 4 for United.
Yeah. I think so. I'm a big fan of Michael Carrick.
I know.
And he's also got in Steve Boland, someone I love so much as well. So they can't do any wrong at the moment. And for Tottenham, I think they were flattered by Manchester City in their last game, and playing at Old Trafford, even if there is no clear coaching, gymnastics that all these Guardiola procedures will tell you, I think Manchester United are formidable at the moment. And against Tottenham, they should get the 3 points. Not an injury ravaged Tottenham side, So anything tomorrow, right?
Austin, Spurs, they're not looking pretty at all, the way they are looking, right? Especially on the table. Outside the Champions League, when it comes to the league, it's something else.
I know, 14th on the log is not where they should be, and I was a big fan of Thomas Frank and, everything he was trying to do with this team. But then they shocked us again against Manchester City, Cecilia. I'm sure you weren't expecting that sort of result. Persons had written them off, and with City, and how they were trying to, turn everything around and pump up that competition with Arsenal. You wouldn't expect that they would do that. I think they can take that momentum to Manchester and see how they can, get their season back on track. Because as I said, they shouldn't be where they are at the moment. But yeah, that's football for you. Let's talk about Manchester City. Pep Guardiola and his team, they've got their eyes fixed on the title. But they need to show that they want to win this title, because it's really tough at the moment because of how Arsenal is playing. And Guardiola has been speaking. He said he believes that the big teams, that big games require big personalities. And I'm sure he knows everything about handling players with big personalities. Listen.
Really good result against Man City.
And try to see how they played lately. What do you have to do? Adjust something, but not this Anfield. In all big stages and big games, always need big personalities. As I said many times, it's not about the skills. All the players in the first division, the Premier Leagues, and the big leagues in the top clubs, the skills are there. I never know one player that is not good enough to play in the big clubs. It's how you behave. I'm not saying play good or bad. How you are. I am who you are as a player. I do it here in bigger stadiums at home, in larger stages in every competition, European competitions, that define the good players, that as much you have, define the good teams.
I totally agree. I'm going to Anfield to take on Liverpool on Sunday, Super Sunday, and both sides, I'm looking at their last 5 matches with Sayo, 3 wins each. But man, for Liverpool, I think they are on a proper resurgence now. That might be the confidence that they need. Pep Guardiola has just said it. The best way that anyone can summarize it, that big games need big personalities. What are those big personalities that can make us talk about that game on Sunday?
Yeah, of course, for Liverpool, Mohamed Salah is still a big fish in that pond, although he has not had the best of seasons, but he is the kind of player to count on in such occasions, and he seldom have good times against Manchester City. And for Pep Guardiola, he has tried all he could to really gas up his players in occasions like this, and the biggest name in his team obviously is Erling Haaland. Although I'm also a big fan of Turkey. This was an Olympic player. He's the one that has been
unfortunately,
before
the network doesn't want us
now.
to.
Three-prong attack.
Okay.
That's City, Liverpool, they're at home. So they have the final three.
Mr. Dairo, I must say thank you so much for your time on the show tonight. Always a delight. Maybe after the Rivers United game, we should get you back to, wrap up the analysis. Thank you. So that's it, Fisayo Dairo.
Thank you for having me.
That's at aclsports.com. Before we wrap up the show, quick update, Cecilia, that game between Leeds United and Nottingham Forest. Can you believe it? Leeds United 2, Nottingham Forest 0. That game is in the 45th minute. We're approaching halftime, so it's looking really good for Leeds United at the moment. But hey, haven't we seen this before? This is football where anything can happen. But Cecilia, do you see Nottingham Forest turning this around?
It is possible, really. I mean, an example is what you talked about earlier, Manchester City flattering Tottenham Hotspur. That game could have been gone 4-0, in favor of Manchester City. But somehow, the second half, they capitulated, and of course, Tottenham had to score 2, and they had to share the points there. And City did not need to drop points, knowing that they're chasing Arsenal to get a point off them. But then Arsenal are just sitting pretty at the top. And just like you have Rivers United, they haven't played 3 games. They're sitting pretty.
And they're still chasing that table.
They're still topping the table. So it's looking like EPL. That's what is currently happening at the moment. That's why Anslot is targeting improved display. They may have won against Newcastle, but then he also won that improved display. But Austin, we have to go. It's okay.
We got to go. Bogle in the 26th minute gave Leeds United the lead. 4 minutes later, Noah Okafor doubled the lead for the hosts, and that's why it's looking good for them to take that 2-0 lead into the break. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonapan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
And thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mongbe. Have a fantastic weekend.